wanting to touch on Anthony Yarde and what the future holds for him. Yes, he did just finish losing this past weekend to Artur Beterbiev in the 8th round by knockout in his country of Britain. But the good news for Anthony Yarde is that he gave a great account of himself. He did a lot better than I personally thought he would. I didn't have him going past the 5th round, and I thought Artur Beterbiev would knock him out around the 3rd round. I was wrong, and I'm glad that I was, because it was a much better fight than I even anticipated. Anthony Yarde showed that he has improved a lot, and he's been working on his craft, and all props to him. And now he's in a really good position, considering that he has 3 losses. And what opponents could he potentially see in the future that would still keep him in position to get another shot at a title against Beterbiev again potentially, or maybe even Dmitry Bivol in the future? Frank Warren has already come out, and Frank Warren is his promoter, and said that he's going to reach out to Bob Arum to see if they could potentially make a fight against Joe Smith Jr. Now, for those of you who don't know, Joe Smith Jr. was Artur Beterbiev's previous opponent, who he beat to get Anthony Yarde in the ring, or for Anthony Yarde to get him in the ring. Joe Smith Jr. was a champion at 175, and Joe Smith Jr. has also fought Dmitry Bivol. Yes, he lost to Bivol, but Joe Smith Jr. is no slouch, and Anthony Yarde showed he has gotten a lot better, going 8 rounds with somebody like Beterbiev, which Joe Smith Jr., by the way, was not able to do. So there is a lot there that is intriguing. Now the question is, let's say this fight is made, where would it take place? I personally would like to see it take place in New York, because Anthony Yarde is coming off of a loss. Yes, Joe Smith Jr. is as well, but Yarde should want to expand his profile a little bit more and get his name out there with the U.S. fan base. Of course, if they did the fight in the UK, I believe it would still sell a lot of tickets because of Yarde's performance against Beterbiev. Now, let's say that fight doesn't happen. Me personally, I would not mind seeing a fight with Lyndon Arthur, which would make it a trilogy. And for those of you who don't know, Lyndon Arthur did beat Anthony Yarde after his first loss was to Sergey Kovalev, Anthony Yarde. His second loss was to Lyndon Arthur, which in Anthony Yarde's defense, he did avenge in their second fight. But I would argue that fight was stopped prematurely, as I've said before, and if you follow our podcast. So I don't know exactly how much fanfare there is for that fight in the UK. I would imagine there is, because I can't be the only one that thought that fight was stopped prematurely. I didn't think the ref should have called it as soon as he did. I thought Lyndon Arthur showed the capacity that he was still able to fight. He didn't look like he was that out of it, in my humble opinion. But again, I don't know what the interest would be in the UK for that fight. So please, if you guys are watching this and you're British fans, let me know what you guys think about that fight. The other opponent I would throw out there, and again, this is another British fighter, is Craig the Spider Richards, who has also been in the ring with Dmitry Bivol, and most recently fought Joshua Buatsi, and he gave a great account of himself in both of those fights. Dmitry Bivol did beat him. Joshua Buatsi, you can argue, should have gone his way, if not should have been a draw, and it was a very good fight. So those 3 opponents, right off the top of my head, are the ones that stand out for me that Anthony Yarde could take on and would still draw the fans to want to see those fights, would generate sales, ticket sales, and I think would have interest in both the US and in the UK. Of course, Lyndon Arthur would be more of the UK fan base. Craig the Spider Richards, I think as well, but to me, he's a little bit, he's better than Lyndon Arthur, with all due respect to Lyndon Arthur. And of course, Joe Smith Jr. would be the one that he can travel over into the U.S. for and make a name for himself. Or I'm sorry, again, expand his profile out here. And it's easier because Bob Arum and Frank Warren do work together. But let me know what you guys think. Those are the 3 opponents that come off the top of my head that I would personally like to see Anthony Yarde take on after his fight with Artur Beterbiev. And please make sure you like, comment, let me know what you think, subscribe, hit the bell notification button, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you for tuning in, guys.